2019 saw a number of hugely talented entertainers and household names pass away. In their own way, each of these people have left a truly remarkable impression on the world. Here are some of the brightest stars we lost in 2019. Director John Singleton passed away on April 29, 2019, at just 51 years old after suffering a massive stroke about 2 weeks earlier. Singleton became both the youngest and the first ever African-American Best Director Oscar nominee when he got the nod at just 24 years old for his acclaimed film Boyz n the Hood. He's also known for helming Poetic Justice, the remake of Shaft, Too Fast, Too Furious, and Michael Jackson's iconic music video for Remember the Time. He most recently served as an executive producer of the FX series Snowfall and directed an episode of American Crime Story, The People vs. O.J. Simpson in 2016. Tributes poured out for the late director from everyone from Spike Lee to Jordan Peele to former President Barack Obama, as well as Singleton's frequent collaborator Regina King. Singleton's daughter Justice honored her father on Instagram and promised to continue his legacy, writing, "I want to provide what he can no longer. I'll share as much of his hopes and dreams. I'll treat those the way he did, with fist bumps and laughter. I sincerely wish he had more time, but what he did here is everlasting and within me." Robert Forster died on October 11, 2019, at 78 years old. The actor's rep told The Hollywood Reporter that Forster passed away at his home following a battle with brain cancer. Forster actually had more misses than hits early in his career, which began back in the 1960s. Of his career struggles, he told the Chicago Tribune in 2018, "Every time it reached a lower level I thought I could tolerate, it dropped some more, and then some more. Near the end, I had no agent, no manager, no lawyer, nothing. I was taking whatever fell through the cracks." Director Quentin Tarantino was a longtime fan of Forster, who he brought in to audition for Reservoir Dogs. The part eventually went to Lawrence Tierney, but Tarantino brought Forster back for Jackie Brown, writing the part of Max Cherry specifically for him. Forster later recalled, "That's when I said to him, I'm sure they're not going to let you hire me. Tarantino said, I hire anybody I want. And that's when I realized I was going to get another shot at a career." After Jackie Brown, Forster's career indeed enjoyed a renaissance. His most recent work, reprising his role as Ed Galbraith in El Camino, premiered the day he died. Best known and beloved for starring as Chewbacca in the Star Wars franchise, English-American actor Peter Mayhew passed away on April 30th, 2019, surrounded by his family and loved ones at his Texas home. He was 74 years old. No cause of death has yet been revealed, but The Hollywood Reporter claimed that Mayhew underwent spinal surgery to improve his mobility in 2015. Mayhew was still working as a full-time hospital orderly when he became the furry co-pilot Star Wars fans all know and love. Mayhew, who stood at 7'2", was chosen for the role of Chewbacca after would-be Darth Vader actor David Prowse turned the role down. He appeared as Chewbacca in every one of the beloved Wookiees' on-screen appearances right up to Star Wars Episode 8, The Force Awakens, after which he passed the baton to actor Eunice Suotamo. Beyond that, Mayhew also worked as Chewbacca consultant on The Last Jedi.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.
George Lucas summed up Mayhew as the true personification of his on-screen character, saying, "Peter was a wonderful man. He was the closest any human being could be to a Wookiee. Big heart, gentle nature, and I learned to always let him win. He was a good friend, and I'm saddened by his passing." Model and actress Peggy Lipton passed away on May 11, 2019, at the age of 72. Lipton was mother to daughters Kadada and Rashida with her ex-husband, music pioneer Quincy Jones. Rashida and Kadada said in a statement to the Los Angeles Times, "She made her journey peacefully with her daughters and nieces by her side. We can't put all of our feelings into words right now, but we will say Peggy was and will always be our beacon of light, both in this world and beyond. She will always be a part of us." Lipton kicked off her modeling career when she was just 15 years old. She was acclaimed for her acting work as Julie Barnes in The Mod Squad from 1968 to 1973, earning 4 Emmy nominations and winning a Golden Globe for the role in 1971. She was also a singer, releasing a self-titled album in 1968. Lipton married Quincy Jones in 1974, then took on smaller roles and bit parts periodically. After divorcing Jones in 1989, Lipton hit the small screen again as Norma Jennings in Twin Peaks, a role she reprised in 2017. In addition to Twin Peaks, Lipton also appeared in her daughter Rashida's series, Angie Tribeca, appropriately enough playing the mother of Rashida's titular character. A prolific character actor with a career spanning more than 4 decades, Rene Auberjonois died on December 8, 2019 from lung cancer. He was 79 years old. Auberjonois starred in a number of iconic roles during his lifetime, most notably as the curmudgeonly shapeshifter Odo in Star Trek Deep Space Nine. He made appearances in a number of movies, including MASH and Batman Forever, and was also an accomplished voice actor, with credits on projects ranging from Disney's The Little Mermaid to Archer to Justice League.
I am shattered to pieces!
Auberjonois began his career on the stage, winning a Tony Award in 1970 for his work in Coco, a play about the legendary fashion designer Coco Chanel. He was nominated for 3 more Tony Awards throughout his career. He was also nominated for an Outstanding Supporting Actor Emmy in 1984 for Benson, as well as for Outstanding Guest Actor in a Drama Series for The Practice in 2001. Auberjonois' son described the actor as a proud progressive and highlighted his work with Doctors Without Borders. Fellow Star Trek star George Takei went on to say, "Auberjonois was a wonderful, caring, and intelligent man." Legendary singer and actress Doris Day passed away on May 13, 2019. She was 97 years old. Day was born Doris Mary Ann von Kappelhoff in Cincinnati, Ohio. She got her start singing as a teen, changing her last name when she started getting some serious radio airplay. Day began acting in musicals in the 1940s, making her debut as Georgia Garrett in 1948's Romance on the High Seas. By the 1950s, she had become a household name as America's Girl Next Door, with Calamity Jane reportedly being her own favorite project to have starred in. She also starred in Alfred Hitchcock's The Man Who Knew Too Much, for which she recorded what became her signature Oscar-winning song, Que Sera Sera. 3 years later, she co-starred with longtime friend Rock Hudson in Pillow Talk, for which she was nominated that year's Oscar for Best Actress. Unfortunately, Day's personal life wasn't quite as picture-perfect as her career. Day was married 4 times, with 3 marriages ending in divorce. Her third husband, Martin Melcher, was also her manager, and when he died, she was left in massive debt and would go on to sue his business partner for fraud. Day's son, Terry, also died of melanoma in 2004. Day was also an ardent animal activist and owned a dog-friendly hotel in Carmel, California, and she also started her own foundation dedicated to spaying, neutering, and rescuing animals. Comedy legend Tim Conway died on May 14, 2019 at 85 years old. Conway's big break had been in the role of Ensign Charles Parker on McHale's Navy, soon to be followed by his acclaimed role on The Carol Burnett Show. He won a Golden Globe and 4 Emmy Awards for his work on the latter, as well as 2 more Emmys later in his career, including one for a guest role on 30 Rock. And Conway was happiest in supporting roles, telling the Archive of American Television in 2004, "I would much rather stand in the background and make small funny things than be up at the head of the class." In August 2018, The Blast reported that Conway was confined to a wheelchair and battling dementia. His wife Charlene and his daughter Kelly from an earlier marriage engaged in a lengthy court battle over who should be his conservator. After his passing, Carol Burnett told Fox News, "I'm heartbroken. He was 1 in a million, not only as a brilliant comedian, but as a loving human being. I cherish the times we had together, both on the screen and off. He'll be in my heart forever." Legendary character actor Rip Torn died on July 9, 2019 at 88 years old. The actor had a whopping 200 credits to his name, beginning on Broadway in the 1950s and leading to a Tony Award nomination for his role in Tennessee Williams' Sweet Bird of Youth in 1959. One of Torn's most iconic performances was in the Norman Mailer 1970 docudrama Maidstone, when Torn reportedly attacked Mailer with a hammer during a scene. A scripted fight supposedly became a real one, and the raw footage was included in the final film. Torn also earned an Oscar nod for Best Supporting Actor in 1983's Cross Creek. One of his most popular roles, however, was as producer Artie on The Larry Sanders Show in the 1990s, which earned him 6 Emmy nominations and 1 win for Best Supporting Actor. He was also celebrated for his role as Zed, chief of a top-secret alien hunting group in 1997's Men in Black, and for his comedic performance as Patches O'Houlihan in Dodgeball in 2004. Veteran actor Rutger Hauer died at his Netherlands home on July 19, 2019, after a short illness. He was 75 years old. Hauer was best known for his role of Roy Batty, the homicidal replicant in Blade Runner, though he made a name for himself nearly a decade earlier with the role in the Best Foreign Film Oscar nominee Turkish Delight. After several Dutch films, Hauer broke out stateside as a baddie in Sylvester Stallone's Nighthawks. Following Nighthawks, Hauer took on a string of action roles for the next decade. Though initially known for his action roles, Hauer was a figure in the world of horror too, most notably starring as Lothos in the 1992 movie Buffy the Vampire Slayer and fairy prince Niall Brigant on HBO's vampire drama True Blood. Although Hauer was a workhorse actor, he chose his projects carefully and explained to The Hollywood Reporter in February 2018 that he wasn't too interested in modern blockbusters. He said, "The eye of the director and the point of view of the filmmaker has suffered in big films in the past decades. I look for hard balls, and I don't see much balls in most films today."
All those moments will be lost in time.
Peter Fonda died on August 16, 2019 at 79 years old after a battle with lung cancer. Fonda was an iconic on-screen biker, beginning with the Hell's Angels opus Wild Angels, in which he starred alongside Bruce Dern and Nancy Sinatra. Then came his star turn in Easy Rider, which he co-wrote with Dennis Hopper and author Terry Southern. Fonda earned a Best Original Screenplay Oscar nomination for Easy Rider, though he and Hopper reportedly feuded for years over who came up with the film's premise. His most notable roles in the 1970s included parts in Future World and Wanda, Nevada, in which he co-starred with a young Brooke Shields and his father, Henry Fonda. He later appeared with his daughter, Bridget Fonda, in Bodies, Rest and Motion. After a series of cameos and bit parts, Peter Fonda returned to the big time in John Carpenter's blockbuster Escape from LA with Kurt Russell, followed by Ulee's Gold, for which he was nominated for a 1998 Best Actor Oscar. He continued acting throughout his life, both in film and TV. Peter's superstar sister, Jane Fonda, said in a statement, "I'm very sad. He was my sweet-hearted baby brother, the talker of the family. I have had beautiful alone time with him these last days. He went out laughing." Country singer Kylie Rae Harris died on September 4, 2019 at just 30 years old in a 3-vehicle crash near Taos, New Mexico. The 16-year-old driver of another car was also killed in the accident. It has since been revealed that Harris's blood alcohol content at the time was 3 times the legal limit. Hours before Harris's passing, she revealed on her Instagram story that she used to frequent the northern New Mexico town with her father and sisters because her grandparents had lived there. She added, however, that only one surviving uncle remained out of all of them. Harris wrote, "Driving these roads today, I've been driving for 12 hours. You would think that's so exhausting and boring. And remembering my place in the back seat, and I started getting really sad." Singer Eddie Money, famous for 2 Tickets to Paradise and Take Me Home Tonight, died on September 13, 2019 at 70 years old. The crooner had recently been diagnosed with stage 4 esophageal cancer.
I thought I was just going in to get a checkup, and he told me that I got cancer.
On the morning of his death, his family told Variety, "It is with heavy hearts that we say goodbye to our loving husband and father. We cannot imagine our world without him. We are grateful that he will live on forever through his music." Money, born Edward Joseph Mahoney, was an NYPD officer before moving to California, where he linked up with legendary producer Bill Graham. His first hit was 1978's Baby Hold On, while Take Me Home Tonight peaked at number 4. In April 2018, Money and his family appeared on the Access TV reality series Real Money. During the 1980s, Money struggled with addiction and alcohol abuse, but eventually sobered up. Still, he maintained a sense of humor about his life and career, telling the Los Angeles Times, "I don't go for this Hollywood crap. I don't go to Rod Stewart parties. I don't come down to LA for the Grammys. I'm not into fancy cars. I drive a 1974 Mercedes that I bought from my lawyer. It's a piece of junk. I'm trying to sell it to my Iranian dentist." The Cars frontman Ric Ocasek died on September 15, 2019. He was 75 years old. Ocasek's estranged wife, former supermodel Paulina Poroskova, reportedly found him unresponsive in bed in their New York City home, where he was pronounced dead at the scene. In May 2018, Poroskova announced that she and Ocasek had separated a year earlier after 28 years of marriage. The couple first met on the set of the Cars video for Drive in 1984 and share 2 children. Ocasek was responsible for the Cars' biggest hits, including smash singles from their self-titled 1978 debut album like Just What I Needed, My Best Friend's Girl, and Good Times Roll, as well as several solo albums. The Cars' smash hit, You Might Think, even beat out Michael Jackson's Thriller for the inaugural Video of the Year award at the MTV Video Music Awards in 1984. Ocasek and the Cars were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2018. He told Rolling Stone that the honor was a good cap on the bottle of his music career, explaining, "This could be the bookend. One guy on a guitar playing bad songs, and then I'm in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame 45 years later. It's been a pretty eventful life, I can say." Actor and comedian Rip Taylor died on October 6, 2019 at the age of 84, having suffered a seizure the week before. Known for his over-the-top personality, costumes, and signature handlebar mustache, Taylor had been a veteran of the Korean War before entering show business. During the 70s, he was a staple celebrity guest on a number of popular game shows. Taylor earned his nickname the King of Confetti entirely by accident, having torn up his 5x8 cards after becoming frustrated over the jokes he was given on The Merv Griffin Show. This off-the-cuff act launched Taylor's famous gag, one that he would perform for the rest of his career. Following Taylor's passing, his publicist released a statement to CNN saying, "The greatest joy he had in life was the result of making others laugh. He didn't have an easy childhood. Abused and bullied, he said he discovered early that they weren't hitting you if they were laughing." Gloria Vanderbilt died at 95 on June 17, 2019. Born Gloria Laura Madeline Sophia Vanderbilt in 1924, Vanderbilt was at the center of a custody battle dubbed the Trial of the Century, which began after her father's death when she was 18 months old. Vanderbilt's aunt eventually won custody of her after Vanderbilt's mother squandered much of her trust fund. Gloria modeled in her teens and romanced older men, including Errol Flynn and Howard Hughes, before marrying a number of times and having a handful of children. With her final husband, writer Wyatt Cooper, she shared sons Anderson and Carter. Wyatt died in 1978, and Carter died by suicide a decade later. In addition to being a tabloid staple, Gloria was an artist and fashion designer, and her signature denim made her a household name for a new generation. Her son Anderson recalled, "If you were around in the early 1980s, it was pretty hard to miss the jeans she helped create, but that was her public face, the one she learned to hide behind as a child. Her private self, her real self, that was more fascinating and more lovely than anything she showed the public." Sadly, these aren't the only celebrities who left us in 2019. Here are some of the other stars who passed away last year. Ashley Massaro, Daniel Wright, Atika, Billy Drago, Emily Hartridge, Aaron Eisenberg, Robert Hunter, Beth Chapman, Valerie Harper, Suzanne Wang, Jesse Combs, Sully, Ross Perot, Stephen Moore, Bill Macy, Robert Evans, John Witherspoon, Laurel Griggs, Jane Galloway Heights, Gu Hara, Godfrey Gao, Shelley Morrison, Sid Haig, Cha In-ha, Robert Walker Jr., Ron Liebman, Juice WRLD, Marie Fredrickson, Philip McKeon, Jack Burns, Danny Aiello, Chewy Bravo, Don Imus, Sue Lyon, Bill and Joe Smith, Luke Perry, Katherine Helmond, Nipsey Hussle, Carol Channing, Keith Flint, Bob Einstein, Janice Freeman, Jan Michael Vincent, Lisa Sheridan, Julie Adams, Fatima Ali, Jed Allen, Bibi Anderson, Carmen Argenziano, Kay Ballard, Seymour Cassell, Daryl Dragon, Georgia Engel, Richard Erdman, Albert Finney, Frida Foreman, Yoji Harada, Denise Dewberry Hay, Meetzi Hogue, Paul Koslow, Steve Bean, Christoph St. John, Dick Miller, Louisa Moritz, Mean Jean Okerlund, Joseph Pilato, Nadja Rajan, Luti Vanderzee. If you or someone you know is having suicidal thoughts, please call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-TALK 8255 or text HOME to the crisis text line at 741-741.